It's time for our daily dose of cope. And here we have Gus, and Gus is obviously about to bust. Look at all these hats, and man, it is MAGA v. MAGA. These MAGA are coming for Donald Trump, and I am here for it. I came across this woman, Minnie Red Hawk, yesterday, and she gave us a treasure trove of tweets of these MAGA influencers melting down over Donald Trump and his recent antics. She calls it a dopamine hit. I called it my daily dose of cope. She calls it a dopamine hit. I definitely appreciate her putting this together for us. I didn't really have to work hard. I just have to read the tweets to y'all. Y'all remember a long time ago when Donald Trump was campaigning. And yes, it seems like a long time ago. Dude hasn't even been in office for a full year, but it's been a long time. So he put out this tweet yesterday saying the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap. The Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics of viciously closing our country, while at the same time putting many at risk. And they should pay a full price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else. And any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening up our country and fixing the massive damage caused by the Democrats. He said this yesterday because he's trying to get people off of that list. I'm sorry, like to get their attention away from that list. Caroline Levitt reshared that on her social media. We saw this man, Evan Kilgore, yesterday because his business is impacted by Republicans banning THC. He says that his family is about to lose their business overnight. Anyways, he's upset. He reshared this post saying, "We want answers about Jeffrey Epstein. The more President Trump tries to sweep it under the rug and condemn his base for demanding transparency, the more he will lose support. This isn't going away. Yet another tone-deaf deflection from the president, making me lose more hope." The other night, Donald Trump went to a Washington Commanders football game. He tried to say some words on the mic. He got booed loudly. Dean Withers posted this saying, this is brutal. I've never seen him get booed this much. Americans are turning against Trump and they're letting him know. The Hodge twins, y'all know they be shucking and jiving for MAGA. They are extra MAGA influencers saying, this is rough. I don't think the White House PR team was expecting this one. And this was even posted on Fox. They can't propagandize their way away from this. He is not popular at all. Trisha Hope says, there's no 3D, 4D, or 5D chess. There is only reality, and the reality is Trump has abandoned MAGA. This interview that he did with Laura Ingraham has his base heated. They are really upset about this H-1B visa and the fact that Donald Trump said that 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. They are really upset. They're like, y'all gonna let in all these spies. All these Chinese students are spies. So we got this person named 6 Million saying, Trump is a disgrace. This is arguably treason. To frame it as America first is disgusting. Traitorous piece of poop, probably. Here we have Dominic saying, Trump's interview with Laura Ingraham was an embarrassing disgrace, easily his worst ever. MAGA is dead. Trump is out of touch, dismissive of struggling Americans, and has no solutions. America last. I told y'all they are heated. So Wall Street Mav is talking about this interview as well, saying, I really hope that Stephen Miller or someone else can explain to President Trump that is not what we voted for. This is a path to giving away the midterms in 2026 and Democrats launching investigations and impeachments for 2 years. His base is going to stop caring soon if this continues. Trump needs to turn this around. Ian Smith uses this photo where Donald Trump got nicked on the ear and got a little blood. He says, when I become your president, I will create 50-year mortgages, 15-year car loans, bring in 600,000 Chinese students, tell the American people we need H-1B visas because there is no talent here, and protect the Epstein files so no PDF files are brought to justice. Joel Webbin is a Theo bro that wants to strip women's right to vote. He is definitely right wing. He says it's long past time to admit that Donald Trump is not our guy. He was merely the precursor to another. MAGA is dead. America First is ascended. This is the new litmus test. If someone refuses to say this, they are not on the team. Wow. We see Evan Kilgore again. He is busy. He says, breaking. The New York Times is reporting that Trump personally called Representative Lauren Burbrain in order to convince her to withdraw her support over the release of the Epstein files. We are so cooked. Clint Russell says, no Epstein disclosures, no J6 justice, no peace in Ukraine, 600,000 Chinese students, maximum H-1Bs, but at least I could take out a 50-year mortgage to buy an $800,000 starter home, assuming I don't get deported for anti-Semitism. MAGA isn't divided. It's dead. If it is dead, y'all, I am so happy. I will do a little dead. They are eating themselves because they never had a game plan. Their game plan was just to trigger the libs and own the Democrats. That was it. All he wanted to do was go after his political opponents. He had no game plan to actually govern. So Paul shared this post from Dan Patrick at the bottom. Dan Patrick says the United States Senate just passed H.R. 5371 to reopen the federal government. Notably, the resolution prioritized a ban on intoxicating hemp THC, similar to the bill passed by the Texas legislature. That is what Evan Kilgore was mad about yesterday because his family owns something that involves THC or CBD oil or something like that. So to that, Paul says, you guys banned pot before deporting illegals in any real numbers. You honestly deserve to lose the midterms. I talked about this yesterday, but this says Trump sends a letter to President Herzog formally asking him to pardon Netanyahu, saying the case against him is a political, unjustified prosecution. And Kittler says, how does this make America great again? Finance a Lot is talking about this. Donald Trump talking about he wants to give $2,000 checks out of our tariff money. So Finance a Lot says Trump never intended to give Americans anything. Annual tariff revenue, $350 billion. Total cost of $2,000 checks, $700 billion. Supreme Court tariff decision is 2 to 4 weeks away. Once deemed unlawful, all tariffs must be paid back to importers. It was a wealth transfer from the poor to the wealthy. This one from Emerald Robinson makes me smile. She says Trump is in the middle of the longest losing streak of his political life. It's just one mistake after another, inviting Al-Qaeda to the White House, floating 15-year car loans, floating 50-year mortgages, arranging discounts for fat loss drugs. Yikes. He is really not paying attention to what people are actually saying they need. Let's do it how it started, how it's going. So this one's titled, Cut Government Fat, she said, as she cheered Doja's cuts. Turns out she was the fat. This woman named Lynn says, this is winning. 2 weeks in, U.S. aid funding canceled. Gender ideology eliminated. Doge already saved billions. 51 intel agents lost clearance. Border crossings dropped by 93%. Reservoirs filled up in California. Mexico caved. Panama caved. Colombia caved. Venezuela caved. Canada panicking. Mass deportations. Hostages are home. DEI programs ended. Bureaucracy slashed. FBI purges underway. She said this back in February. This is what winning looks like. We'll start with the middle. This is October. She says, I am a contractor for the VA and I got let go today because of Doge. There were so many cuts. They don't have a new project to match me to. So if you guys have any jobs for me, please reach out to me, stat. I have been a patriot for years and years, and loyal AF. I have my GFE, my priv and my private and my public trust in good standing. Thank you so much. That was October. Fast forward to November 12th. I lost my job working for the VA as a federal contractor for the past 8 years because of Doge and the government shutdown, and I'm actively looking for work. I even tagged him in some of my posts, LOL, in case someone in his camp saw me because I need a job ASAP. Prayers up. At the bottom, she says, someone wrote me those most beautiful prayer today because I lost my job yesterday because of the government and Doge and haven't been feeling 100%. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep reading it. The thing is, they were so happy about all of these cuts. They didn't realize that they could actually get their jobs cut as well. These people are ridiculous, but this is what they voted for. We have one more how it started, how it's going. So this person named Emerald Robinson wrote, and this was back in November 2024, the federal government must be purged. The traitors in the military must be court-martialed. The media broadcast licenses must be revoked. The government censorship complex must be jailed. The woke professors of the colleges must be fired. The communities must be punished. Then we got someone named Arnold saying, I would leave my job right now to help Trump in this task. It is truly monumental. Arnold said that back in November 2024. Now let's go to the how it's going. So this person named It's Tiff says, I have zero patience, zero faith in our government to be forthright and honest. So please, pretty effing please, stop telling me to trust or believe in some imaginary plan because you are just wasting my time and yours. Now we have Arnold. Keep in mind, this is just 1 year later. He says it might be the time to impeach Trump. He has lost his mind. I hoped and prayed and lost my job supporting him. But what I am seeing is almost unbelievable. Now, 1 year ago, he said that he would leave his job right now to help Trump in his mission. And now he lost his job and he wants to impeach Trump. My, how things have changed. But this is what they voted for, so this is what they get. So yesterday I made this video. I was talking about how Donald Trump is panicking about all of these Jeffrey Epstein emails. And I was talking about how those people who were holding up their binders, their Epstein file findings, they were doing this back in February. Now people are calling them out like, you're not talking about this. Why are you so quiet about this? The crazy thing is I forgot to attach this video to the video that it was supposed to be shown on. So I am putting it right here because it was a good video and y'all need to see these tweets. So here goes those tweets from yesterday. So we had to know that Donald Trump was freaking out with all of the Jeffrey Epstein information or Jeffrey Epstein news taking over media and social media. So I went over to the Live Social page because I follow him, so you don't have to. And so that is what he is talking about. This very first one is at 11:03 this morning, saying the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap. The Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics of viciously closing our country while at the same time putting many at risk, and they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening up our country and fixing the massive damage caused by Democrats. So don't look over there. Don't look over there. Look over here. Look over here. Don't look at Jeffrey Epstein. Don't look at He's trying so hard. And then at 11:37, he put out this one. In other words, the Democrats are using the Jeffrey Epstein hoax to try and deflect from their massive failures, in particular, their most recent one, the shutdown. Now, okay. I do know and understand that the Democrats caved. The Senate Democrats caved on the shutdown, and they let the Republicans have their way without getting anything as far as health care. But because they reopened the government, Representative Adelita Grijalva got sworn in, and all of this is going to come out, and it is making him freak out. I hope it freaks him out to the point where, I mean, I'm not even going to say it, but you know what I mean. Now, here we have MAGA influencer Gunther Eagleman. This was a person that was all about, let's see the Epstein files. So, of course, I go over to his Twitter page to see what he's saying about the emails being released. And he's not talking about the emails being released. This is what he's saying. The Democrats cost our country 1.5 trillion. All he's doing is just repeating some of what Donald Trump said in the live social post. And then he says, Democrats hate America. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything about the Jeffrey Epstein emails. Representative Robert Garcia is talking to Caroline Levitt right here. Madam Press Secretary, if you are concerned about what we released, you can easily fix this. Have your boss release the files. And then he shares a screenshot from what Caroline Levitt said in a statement. The statement says the Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. The unnamed victim referenced in these emails is the late Virginia Giuffre, who repeatedly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever and couldn't have been friendlier to her in their limited interactions. The fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including Giuffre. These stories are nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract from President Trump's historic accomplishments, and any American with common sense sees right through this hoax and clear distraction from the government opening back up again. So they keep trying to put the word hoax in there as if it will stick. And so that's what the people, the MAGA people, are doing over on Twitter. They are just trying to make this into a hoax. Here's Gavin Newsom tagging JD Vance. So Gavin Newsom says, color me shocked. Any comment, JD Vance? And then shares this headline, Epstein and alleged emails that Trump knew of his conduct. In a message obtained by Congress, the convicted ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein wrote that Donald J. Trump spent hours at his house with one of Mr. Epstein's victims. Y'all remember this picture and this scene going viral back in February? I do, where they had their binders and Pam Bondi had the Jeffrey Epstein files on her desk, and these people had their binders with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. You remember that? All right, so here's the press office of Gavin Newsom saying, anyone check on these influencers this morning? Pretty big day for the issue they're most passionate about. And then what the press office did, they started tagging their individual pages. Congrats at DC Drano on the new unredacted evidence. This is Libs of TikTok. I went to her page. She is not talking about this. She's talking about transgender for everyone. That's what the Libs of TikTok is talking about. So the press office is saying, Kaya Reshnick, any comment on Trump's hours with the victim? Spoiler alert, she did not respond. The press office asks Jack Posobiec care to explain and tags him. This is dude with the hat at Watch Chad. Is this the best part yet? This person named The Dark Pulse got a close-up on this binder. Right here, it says, the most transparent administration in history, and then does this laugh emoji and shares another picture with this girl, Kaya from Lives of TikTok. As I was making this video, the breaking news that Representative Grijalva had finally gotten sworn in, which is great. So that leads us to this political headline. House will vote on Epstein files after newly sworn Democrat completes discharge petition. This woman had to wait 50 days to get sworn in. All right, so it says the House is on track to vote on disclosing files related to the late ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein after newly sworn in Democrat completed a bipartisan effort Wednesday to sidestep Republican leaders over the opposition of Donald Trump. Representative Adelita Grijalva of Arizona signed the discharge petition immediately after she was sworn in by MAGA Mike Johnson after a record 50-day wait and delivered remarks critical of the GOP or the Guardians of PDF files attempts to keep Justice Department files under wraps. It's past time for Congress to restore its role as a check and balance on this administration. That is why I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files. Justice cannot wait another day. The vote is expected in early December, according to aides from both parties. There we go. Will you let me know what you think? There's always so much, but I will be watching and getting all of these alerts. Let me know what you think about all of this.